Yeah. Well, that'll pull you back and motivate you all the time. He also asked about documentation of physical effects.
We have those. We don't make a consistent practice of it, but they occur quite naturally in what we do. And we have quite a long line of them in terms of that. But you see, again, we're dealing with an energy that cannot be measured scientifically, so you can only measure the effects of the energy. You understand the difference?
Yes, sir. All right.
That's the problem.
All right. Wildcard line, you're on the air with Robert Monroe. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Bell. Hello, Mr. Monroe.
Hello.
I think you'd probably if I said this in the past, you'd probably think I was nuts, but
no, I wouldn't.
I've had quite a few experiences with astral projection, and in which case other people actually experienced my being there. They didn't know it was me, and I never told them in advance that I was going to do what I did.
Very good. As long as you did not tell them in advance, that's a very important key.
Okay, but now it was incredible when I found out later, and another friend that I had told that I did this was on the phone with us. The three of us were on the phone, and it sort of unfolded. But what I wanted to ask you, and Art had Richard Hoagland on, and I asked him when he was on about the Viking lander on Mars and how specific questions about the arm that was supposedly jammed.
Yes.
And I actually had the experience that I went in 1978 to Mars and found that the arm was jammed and that I unjammed it.
Hey, that's very good.
But I haven't to this day, and it seemed like Richard Hoagland didn't came up with a very logical explanation of what happened, and he explained it over the air. So it may have just been my imagination. But I have very real experiences with it.
Very good.
And it was an incredible experience.
Well, I can tell you the most common illustration of this other energy field, of which we have a part and we manipulate a part, but we don't know we're doing it. And that is that you will maybe of an evening say, well, I ought to call Bill tonight. And 5 minutes after you think of that, the phone rings and says, oh, no, this is Bill. Well, I thought I'd just give you a ring. And how many thousand times a day that happens in the human, this human civilization?
Well, is that precognition, or did you cause Bill to call you?
You caused him to call. You were thinking in his energy field, and you imprinted him. And I must have had that happen, at least 500 times in the last 50 years. And in the last 50 years, how frequently have you sat down and wondered about the ethics of that? Well, that's a good question, isn't it? I think so. And the other part of that question that you immediately say, well, that's one of the things you see that's omitted within our culture and our civilization, and it's done a lot more than we consciously think. Makes one wonder how much action is really willful. On the toll-free line, you're on the air with Robert Monroe. Where are you calling from, please?
This is Dave in Spokane, Art.
Yes, hi, Dave.
Again. Well, I said when we were talking with Mr. Hoagland that my expertise wasn't in that area. It was more in this area, and here we are. It's good to know that you're not alone. It's good to know that I'm not a kook, because I've been doing this. I'm 50, and I've been doing this since I was about 5. Yeah. And in the entire gamut, I've probably got a million things I could say to you. Well, what I would like you to do, if you've gone that far, or anyone else going that far, by all means, drop us a note. We would indeed like to hear about it. Well, I certainly would, and we would certainly appreciate it. And write to our staff psychologist, Darlene Miller, and all you have to do is it's Route 1, Box 175, Faber, Virginia 22938. Route 1, Box 175, Faber, F-A-B as in boy, E-R, Virginia 22938. F-A-B-E-R?
Faber.
Yeah.
Faber. I would say Faber.
It's Faber, yeah, but they in Virginia they call it Faber. Okay. I had one question for you.
Very quickly.
Very quickly. Have you ever been to a place where it was totally dark?
All right, and hold that answer, Mr. Monroe, and we'll be right back with you. This is Dreamland on the CBC Radio Network, half-hour mark. My guest is Robert Monroe. There's more. Back in the 70s of
that was the equivalent of that type of reading. It was and it was electromagnetic, but we do not perceive the aura as such. But you can perceive, believe me, you can perceive other energies of people, but it doesn't come out as an aura, it comes out as a radiation. And you can't see it, you feel it.
Mm-hmm. All right, sir. On the toll-free line, you're on the air with Robert Monroe. Good evening.
Hi, how you doing, Art?
Fine. Where are you, sir?
Santa Barbara, California.
Santa Barbara.
I had an experience a couple of years ago where I was sitting outside in the morning about 4 o'clock, wide awake, and I started going up through space, out into space, past the moon. It was extremely exhilarating.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Being totally free, just floating. I went out to a point where I could recognize all the stars and the constellations. Then I got to the point where I couldn't recognize anything. I looked back and I couldn't see our sun anymore. Mm-hmm. I kept going to a point, and then I really started getting frightened then.
Yes, I know. We got into that, and when that's why I say we finally figured out how to cure that fear of being not where you, knowing where you are.
Right. I finally came to a planet, and I was coming down to the surface of a planet, and there were hundreds of people in my mind, looking at different knowledge that I had, anything that I knew, just, having conversations. And I came down to a particular place on the planet, and an old man came out, and he essentially came into my mind, told all the other people to leave. And I asked him where I was, and I said that he told me where I was, on this planet where humans live. And I asked him, why was I there, and how did I get there? And he said, well, you're from a penal colony, and I'll send you back. And I said, because I don't know how to get back. And so he sent me back.
Yeah.
And this took all about 15 minutes.
Well,
I was wide awake. When I got back, I was just shaking, and my whole body was shaking in cold sweat.
I can appreciate that. You see, that's the thing. I went through so very many different phases of that type of thing. That's why being very much too left brain, perhaps, I in turn have to get these into a form where we say, well, first experience it, and then after that, get your left brain in to analyze it and control it.
Mr. Monroe, again referring for a second to the near-death experience, there are so many parallels. Yeah. There are a number of doctors now who say that the classic vision that people have, that is of a very bright light with surrounding darkness, is merely a product of the dying synapses of the brain, that the synapses will die from the out moving inward, and that's what that white light is.
That's as good a definition as any. What we call Focus 22 is that tunnel.
Is that tunnel?
Yes, and this is how we commonly identify it.
I see.
Incidentally, speaking of this one time thing, I enjoy so much the name of your series, your program called Dreamland.
Yes, sir.
So we better change it a little bit. Maybe I can help you change it. Add some nice wild stuff. But what I wanted to let you know, because it relates to a little bit what we're talking about. We have a new series for use in residences and in hospitals and hospices called Going Home. And it is designed for a person with a terminal illness or injury. And we just put that out within the last 2 months. And what it is, it's designed to help not only that terminal subject decide what to go, where to go after he or she dies, and what to do by giving them a guided tour, as it were, and then giving them the option to do whatever they want to do. Most importantly, that's half of this series. The other half of that series, is for the support group, the family, friends, and loved ones, and the caregivers.
Sure.
So that they need the help to understand this too. And it's got the support of psychologists and caregivers all over the United States and Europe.
Would you say that somebody who knows roughly that they are going to die, that they are going to pass on, is a fortunate person? Would that be a fortunate person, or would it be better not to know?